guys, we are here again. Welcome to my channel, or you can call it my master class. Hey, I like that. I like the sound of that. Esther's master's class. Nice. So if you're here for the first time, welcome to my channel. Please do me well by hitting on the subscription button. And if you're a returning subscriber, it's good to always have you back. So in today's video, we'll be talking about the structure of a bread bakery business. This structure I'm talking about, it doesn't apply to only bread bakery. So if you have any other business, you can join in and hop in. This structure can be used also in some other businesses, not just bakery. Okay, structure. Let's talk about a structure. A structure can simply mean an organization of the various units that functions together to achieve a set of company goal or organizational goal. Let's talk about the various units or the various departments that every bakery will need, okay, to be successful. When I talk about unit or department, it means the same thing. So it's going to be used interchangeably. You cannot just start a business, especially a manufacturing or a production business, without a structure. If you look at most big businesses today, corporations, all those big names we hear that stand the test of time, they all have one thing in common, and that is called organization, also known as structure. They all have a structure. Everything has to be in place. Everyone needs to know their job function. You need to know who is doing what. Who should you hold liable if something goes wrong in the business? That's why we call it division of labor. A bakery has several units, and in no particular order, I'll be taking you through all these various departments or units that are very essential for a bakery business or any other business. Number one on the list is the production unit or department. Some call it the production room or production hall. This is where raw materials like your flour, your sugar, your salt, your butter, your yeast are processed or converted into finished goods. That is your bread, if you're in the bakery business. This unit should have a minimum of 2 staff with no maximum working in it, depending on the volume of demand you have for your products. You should have a mixer. When I mean a mixer, I don't mean the equipment mixer. I mean a human being called a mixer, a baker, a molder, then the pan guys. Although some of these functions can be collapsed and be done by 2 or 3 people, especially if you're just starting out. You don't want to start packing so many staff that you might not be able to pay. When I started, I had 2 people, including myself, working in production because I wanted to save costs of hiring. And also at that time, our product was still very new in the market. We were still trying to find our feet. But currently, I have more than that number working, and I no longer work in production because the demand has increased and people know my bread now. The job can be a lot at times and overwhelming. Even if it's just 2 bags you say you want to be doing on a daily basis, my brother, is even more taxing, especially if you major on this small size bread. Like me, I major mostly on the small size bread, and not like I don't do the big bread, I do it, but I do more of the small size bread. You see that small size bread, the work in that bra size no be here, especially if you're doing it manually. The big bread or family loaf is easier to make, but it's not as fast moving in sales like the small bread, especially here in Nigeria. For we bakers, the small bread moves faster for us than the big bread. Although I don't know about other countries, statistics has shown this in Nigerian market that the small bread is the fast moving one. It's not like the big one don't sell, but see that small bread, is a game changer. You can't say the same for family loaf. So you see, the reward for making that small size bread that is very tedious is that you are always sold out. You are all on a daily basis. You make so many quantity you make is always sold out. So in the production department, let them be a head of production. This person supersees all the activities that goes on in that unit. He is the head of the production floor. He reports directly to the manager or to the owner of the business if there is no manager. Number 2 is the packaging unit. These guys are in charge of packaging the product, the finished goods. You see that beautiful wrap you see on the bread or on any product out there that is on the shelf. This is their job. They are the ones that package it, that put those beautiful wraps on it. You might need 1 or 2 persons or even more people for this function, depending on your demand, like I always say. Like I've told you, depends on how many volume you make in a day. The packager reports to the head of the production. Unless it's an issue beyond the production head, then he comes to the owner of the business. If there is no manager, or he goes to the manager. Then another crucial department is the finance unit. This is the life of the business. This unit can either mar or break you. Whether you are going to be successful in this business depends on this department. Whether you are going to stand the test of time, if you will last up to 5 years, 10 years, or 50 years in this business, it depends on these people. It depends on this unit, the guys in this unit. Now, what do? What they do is called bookkeeping. Daily records of sales, expenses, receiving revenues or income, cash flows, which we know as inflow and outflow generated by the business. Bookkeeping cannot be overemphasized. Anyhow you look at it, you cannot overemphasize bookkeeping. You'll get to understand whether you're making progress or not. It gives you a clear view on how to plan for better results. I remember there are times when I would just call my accountant, out of the blues, I'll just call him that he should make payment for large quantity of flour. He should pay our distributors of raw materials, and then he would decline. And I'll be wondering, why? And he'll be telling me, we are not buoyant enough because we have too many people owing us, our money is outside, and they haven't paid us. Meaning that we have much money outside. This unit is usually headed by the head of finance or the accountant, who reports directly to the owner of the business. He ensures every income generated gets to the bank before the close of business. So he tells you how healthy your company is, how healthy your business is. There are some moves you can't make because of what's going on in that department. So next on the list is the store. This is where raw materials are kept. For a bakery, this is where we keep the sugar, the butter, the yeast, the salt, the oil, etc. They are all kept in this unit. It is managed by a storekeeper whose responsibility is to account for every item that is brought into that store and that is also taken out of that room. He keeps records of ingredients that needs replacement before it finishes. He reports to the manager or the owner of the business. Sometimes in most bakeries, he is the only one that knows the recipe because he is the one that is allowed to measure the quantity of raw materials that will be used for that day. He hands over the ingredients to the mixer, and this unit is usually out of band to every other staff. No staff, I repeat, no staff is allowed to go into the store. That's the ingredient room. We call it ingredient room. Number 5 on my list is the dispatch unit. All baked goods or finished products are kept in this room, and the person in charge is called the dispatcher. He or she takes record of every product handed over to him or her by the head of production. He manages them in an order in which it will be easy for him to dispatch. I will advise you to use a method called the FIFO method, meaning first in, first out. To elaborate more, it means the products that were produced earlier should be the first to be given out or sold. This unit is also out of band to every other staff. The dispatcher records every product he issues out and have no business with the finance or the cash. The money is collected by the finance department. The money for those goods that will be sold, he does not have any business with it. It is the finance department that handles anything cash. The total number of bread he issues must tally with the total finance collected by the finance department by the finance department. And the quantity of bread at the dispatch room must be equal to the bread handed over by the head of production. must be equal to the number of bread handed over to him by the head of production. Every unit must have record of their daily activities. You must always emphasize that. Repeat it, keep repeating it to all of them. All the units must have record of their activities. Number 6 is the Oga of them all, the marketing unit. Those in charge of marketing are called your marketers. They are different from the distributors. I'll tell you the difference. Marketers are employed by you. They are paid either on salary base or commission base. They use your company vehicles or motorcycle, and they sell or market only your products. Right? They're not allowed to sell any other product except your product in your company vehicle. While distributors, on the other hand, are not employed by you. They use their own vehicle or motorcycle. They don't earn salary or commission from you, and they don't sell only your products. You don't have control over them, unlike your marketers. They might show up, they might or might not show up. They make their money by picking your products as cash and carry at a discounted rate, which they sell to make a profit. So for this purpose of this lecture, I'll be referring strictly only on the marketers. I'll be talking only on marketers, not the distributors. The distributors, I will talk or discuss about that on a later video, not in this current video. So guys, in this business, one thing is to produce, and it's another thing for the finished goods to get to retail stores for people to buy. This is where the functions of the marketer comes in. If you decide to do it yourself, how many people can you reach? But you see those guys called the marketers. Don't underrate their functions. If you want your goods to reach far and wide, you need their services. There are some kind of places that I see my bread today, and I'm wondering, look at me, how did my bread get there? How on earth did this bread get here? It's not enough to produce and think people will come and buy. No. Yes, people might come, but how many can you sell in a day? Especially if your bakery is not located on a very busy area. And even if it is, I'm talking about selling more than 10 bags on a daily basis. I know there are times people will smell your fresh bread outside, and the smell will lure them to your bakery to buy. But that's not the kind of volume I'm talking about here. When I'm talking about volume, I mean volume. When you are doing a minimum of 10 bags, 20 bags, even 50 bags a day, that's the kind of volume I'm talking about. In this business, you make money by selling in huge volumes on a daily basis. So you need marketers that will spread the word, that are loyal to your brand, that will push it out there. Marketers are the ones that will give you customers' feedback, tell you about customers' complaint. You know, the complaint they have about your product, how you should improve, what you should do different from what other people are doing, ways you should improve, what your competitors are doing. They will be the ones to give you expo about what your competitors are doing and how you can copy them or do something better than what they are doing. You know, and they will tell you how your product is performing in the market. You need them to carry your product out of your bakery to where it is needed, like the retail stores, the places with huge traffic, market squares, you know, because you can't do this all by yourself. I've said it, that's why I said this unit is very crucial. Now, how do you market this product? You're going to need a means. There are 2 ways of solving this problem. Yes, it is a problem, and a huge one at that. If you can get it right, trust me, you'll be smiling to the bank on a daily basis. Solving this problem is by getting a distribution vehicle or bike, or just a means to take your bread out. Get as many as possible to serve different locations if you can afford it. You can also start with one vehicle, or even use your own private car like I did when I started. Yes, I distributed bread. I distributed bread with my car until God blessed me. So when God blesses you, you can decide to buy vehicles that will be strictly for your distribution. The marketers are paid salary monthly or on commission. Like I said earlier, I pay by commission because I realized it was the best for my marketers and I. If you decide to go the commission route, they will be the one to fuel the vehicle by themselves. But the regular maintenance of the vehicle or bike will be done by you, the owner of the business. But if it's salary, you, the owner, will fuel and service your vehicle. For commission, there's a fixed amount that the marketer gets on each loaf of bread. Let's say you give him 30 naira on each loaf of bread. I'm not saying 30 naira is the amount you should be giving. I'm just using 30 naira as an example. On each bread, for example, if he sells up to 700 loaves in a day, that means 30 naira times 700. That's a whooping 21,000 naira on a daily basis for him. That way, he is not stuck to only a certain amount as salary at the end of the month. He knows his pay is tied to his performance. You can even go and sleep knowing that he's doing his work. If you cannot afford a distribution van or a bike, just yet, as if you cannot afford it yet, then you can get in touch with the distributors who will use their own vehicles or bike. You give them at a price cheaper than what you would give your marketers if you had one. But like I told you, they are not restricted to only your products. They can decide to show up or not. You do not have control over them because they don't sell only your products and they must pay cash before carrying your goods out of your business premises. Unless you have a different arrangement with them. So that one now is now between you and them. Do you understand? Good. So marketers are your staff. Distributors are not your staff. They are working for themselves. Please, before you decide on the amount you will pay as salary or commission, make sure that you have sat down with your accountant or you've sat down alone to do your calculations to determine how much it costs you to produce one loaf of bread. How much are your competitors? You also have to consider how much your competitors are selling to also determine how much you will place on that bread that you want to sell. Okay? And that way you also know how much you will be making as profit. Because what is the use of being in business if your end goal is not to make profit? Nothing like because it's a new business and so profit should not be kiko yet. Now lie yo. That's a big lie that they've told us. It's not true. If your new business is not generating money from the beginning, it means you have not done a good job. You have not done your assignments. It means you are missing out on something. There's something you haven't done right yet, or you have miscalculated. You should go back to the drawing board. Don't listen to people that say profit should not be the first thing on your mind when you are starting out. My brother and my sister, they're the ones buying raw material for you. So if you know they're not the ones buying raw material for you, don't listen to them. Sit down, do your calculation, and make sure you are making profit from day one. So, profit is your number one goal. I repeat, profit is your number one goal. You must not lose. Should I say it again? Profit is your number one goal. You must not lose. Have that at the back of your mind. Okay, guys. So I hope you have acquired knowledge. Thank you for watching. And if you want to say thank you to me, the only way I will appreciate your thank you is by hitting on that like button, subscribe, and leave me a comment as usual. God bless you. Bye, and see you next time. Thanks for watching.